Hi, this is Derek Jordan. Welcome to the World Fusion Show, where we bring you the leading innovators in world fusion music. Today, my guest is John Sheldon, a guitarist and singer-songwriter. He has worked in the past with Van Morrison, James Taylor, and traveled to Senegal with Tony Vaca and the Senegal America Project. He also recently went to Standing Rock to support the Lakota in their protest against the pipeline. Welcome, John Sheldon, to the World Fusion Show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Thanks for joining us today. It's just great to have you with us. Yeah. So, how did you start out in music? What started you?
Oh, well, my parents listened to records, and I liked the way the records go on the turntable.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun to put records on.
Yeah.
And then come to find that I got absorbed in the music, whatever kind it was. It didn't really matter. But I didn't know how to play anything when I was little.
Sure. Yeah. So you had a very unusual childhood friend who got you into guitar playing, James Taylor. Tell us about what was like growing up with him.
Well, I started playing guitar at summer camp, but I didn't, I just learned a few chords, but James was 3 years older than me, and he was a friend of our family, and he was way ahead. Mm-hmm. And I got him to show me what he was doing. He was picking out the melody and the chords at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, James, I'm a huge fan of James Taylor. Mm-hmm. He was one of my 4 big influences in songwriting. Mm-hmm. Basically, I spent my high school years in the hall, sitting in the hall, playing guitar, trying to be James Taylor, growing my hair. Anyway, I love his music. And so you got such a close relationship with him from an early age. It must have been amazing because he's such a fantastic artist.
Yeah, well, he was a really good guitar player all of a sudden. He came from his boarding school. It's like, wow, all of a sudden he was really good at it. It was very clean. He played very clean,
right.
Finger style, very, very clean, like nobody else.
He's unique.
And I couldn't play that cleanly, but I copied everything. I got him to show me everything he did. And he showed it to me.
That's
he showed
so
me
cool.
those songs that turned into those James Taylor songs later on, the ones they were show tunes and stuff like that. But then that music came out in his songs later.
Interesting. Yeah. So you had a band early on too, right? So you were playing in bands once you had some skill on the guitar. What kind of music were you doing in the band? I like kind of raunchy blues music, kind of like off of Rolling Stones albums, the deeper cuts, sure.
Walking the Dog and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff.
I used to play that too.
Yeah. That was, and then finding out who the guy, Jimmy Reed, finding out who they were imitating, and then I liked all that stuff. And then later there was Wilson Pickett, R&B. I like that. Those were the bands I liked to play in.
Oh, it's so
played
great.
That kind of stuff.
Such great music. So you recently made a trip to Standing Rock, and we're going to show a video of a song you wrote called The Same Water, about your concern for the water and in your support of the Lakota who were protesting the pipeline, as it turned out unsuccessfully. But tell us about that trip for you and what it meant.
Well, I was invited to go by a Native American gentleman, and I just went to help bring supplies, and I raised money to buy supplies for this effort. I never found out if I'd really helped them or not. That was my intention, and we brought a tent to the grounds, which turned out to be very important for them, a hospital tent.
Yeah.
But I learned much more and I got much more out of it, I think, because it was really not a protest as much as it was a prayer.
Yes.
And that prayer is still going. And that's what's important.
The Lakota are a very prayerful people. I did a lot of work with Lakota doing traditional ceremony, doing inipis and then a vision quest. Mm-hmm. So I'm quite familiar and used to sing the songs and do all that stuff too. It was very, very powerful. Important stuff that I was doing at that time. I want to go to the video now and watch this and listen to this beautiful song you wrote. Let's do that.
water without knowing what we had done. But now, somehow, the shiny plated God that we had prayed to and obeyed was melting in the sun, and we looked around, found each other. We did not see the other, only sister and brother. And we knew then we were one, protectors standing, no weapons in our hands, and with only scarred lands to hear. Somehow we sang, we live under the same sun, we drink the same water. In water we are one. We live under the same sun, we are of the water. To the water we return.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that song. Beautiful guitar playing also in that. Very nice. You worked with Van Morrison in his band for a while. Of course, he's a huge star, internationally famous. What was that like being with Van?
It was a time when not many people knew who he was, actually. And he was kind of hiding out in Boston, so...
Was that, before Moondance, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, after Brown Eyed Girl, before Moondance.
There you go.
And before Astral Weeks.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of a funky situation.
Right.
I mean, sometimes one time I had to rent a van. I was 17. I had to rent a van to drive us to a show.
Right.
Because he had no way of getting there.
There's no money in...
How are we going to get there? I don't know.
It wasn't really your job, but you took it on.
No, I wanted to play, so.
I know you did, yeah. You are doing a wonderful project now called The Red Guitar, and I've seen it, it's fantastic. And you're about to go to the Fringe Festival in August to do a series of performances there. Tell us a little bit about how you conceived The Red Guitar and what it means to you.
It was a story that came up from learning how to play from these people like James and Van, and learning the guitar, starting at summer camp. And it came out of just talking to people while I was playing live, and it's kind of a story kind of spun out, and so I decided to work on it and see where it went. And it's taken me quite a ways now. I've already been to the Fringe, and I'm going back. For a larger venue and more performances.
And the story's autobiographical, right?
Yes,
I mean,
it
it's
is.
Your life and...
It's very close. I keep it very close to my experience.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make moralizations. It's my experience of the music coming out through my hands and my storytelling.
Right. It's very cool. You're also going to be joined at the Fringe by Paul Richmond and Tony Vaca. You guys have a trio that you're doing now, which is a spoken word thing. Paul does the spoken word, and Tony and you improvise. And you're going to be doing a bunch of shows there as well. And we're going to go to a video to watch it. But you want to say something about that new group you're working with? Do it now?
Yeah, no, this is a collaboration, which, these things kind of come out of the blue. But I think a bunch of us were ready to collaborate because we wanted to speak to the times we're living in.
Yeah.
We wanted to speak to we want to keep a light on, basically. We want to keep a light on a creativity and freedom, and the freedom to speak.
Right.
And the freedom to speak and say really cool things and not really horrible, hateful things, and do it with music. So we started this collaboration, and it seems to have a life of its own.
Yeah, it's very cool. Let's go to the video now and watch this very cool clip.
He went down on one knee. He went down on one knee. He said, I'm not standing for a flag that has blood on it. And I'm not going to look the other way. I am unarmed. I am unarmed. How many times did it have to be said? But it doesn't really matter. I am unarmed. If I'm a person of color, if I'm Native American, if I am fighting for social justice, I am unarmed. He was shot 6 times. He was shot 6 times. They handcuffed him, and then they tried to do CPR. And then they said, you know, he seems unresponsive. I don't know what they do in the training, what they expect or what they tell you when you shoot someone 6 times. Do you expect them to stand up for the Star-Spangled Banner? I am unarmed.
Oh yeah, just a little taste of,
A little bit.
of Do It Now. And you were joined there also with Joe Sowens.
Yeah.
Joe's
yeah.
going to be a future guest on the World
great.
Fusion Show as well. And I work
great.
with Joe a lot. He's a tremendous bass player. Now, you went to Senegal with Tony as part of the Senegal America project a few years ago. And I've been there twice. It was pretty life-changing for me. Tell me what happened to you.
Yeah, I just remember sitting up there at Sobabade on the ocean playing with Pop Sacco, who's been on your...
That's right.
Been on here. And the sun going down, we just kept playing, and I had a little tape recorder that I just bought, a little digital recorder, actually, and I didn't know how to use it yet. So I didn't set it up, and I always regretted that.
Yeah.
I mean, but the depth of understanding of the music between the people that I met and played with over there, we understood each other in a way that was very beautiful and nonverbal, of course.
That's right.
And they're they'll come up and play right into your face.
Right.
You know? They say, what do you got to say? This is what I'm saying.
Do you speak French or?
Just a little bit. No, I
too,
just had
just a little.
to
It's
do
hard.
it through the music.
Yeah, I know. The music is, of course, a universal language, as people say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's some wonderful people there. Who else besides Pop Sacco did you play with?
Well, I played with Bob Amal at his apartment. I think it was his apartment because we went there for dinner, and then after dinner we got out guitars and played, and then I played with his band on stage at a festival that was out in the middle of nowhere.
That's right.
It was the Twilight Zone for me, but it was great. I loved it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know. I had some great times in Senegal also. You are getting into some new areas in music. You were telling me some shamanic kind of music and kind of that kind of deeper spiritual connection. We're going to go and watch a video in a minute called Earth Blues. So tell us what your current interest and passion is now that you're working with.
Well, aside from all these other things that I'm all passionate about, all of them, this is a way to really explore into a more of a trance and achieving a kind of a trance through music. And I found that I was getting into a trance if I allowed it to go on long enough, and I got past all my preconceived notions about a 3-minute song, that I really, if I let it unwind, that I would sort of start channeling I want to say spirits, my fingers moving and playing things that I never thought I would play, that I had no idea where, and sometimes they sounded like they were coming from a specific voice that was working through me. And so I've been exploring this and making recordings, and they're going to be my next thing, I think.
All right.
I mean, this is going to, I can grow old doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's great. Fantastic. It's always great to, go to new frontiers and go forward. So I'd love to go to this next video, and we show John playing Earth Blues. Like that, all that scratching, string scratching stuff. Good
Sounds,
stuff.
yeah,
Good
sounds.
stuff. John Sheldon, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today on the show.
Oh, it's been an honor and pleasure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And now we're going to go to the part of the show where we do some live in the studio playing, and I really can't wait to do that.
All right, Derek, either can I.
All right. Hey, this is Derek Jordan. Thank you for joining us today on the World Fusion Show. It's been really great to have you, and please share with your friends if you're liking the show. Tell them about it. Also, if you want to catch previous shows, go to the YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for the World Fusion Show, and you can watch all of our many shows that we've put out with some fantastic musicians. And remember, think globally, listen locally, and support independent music.